At the beginning of the movie, Masayu, a single mother, is seen on a work call when her daughter, Sari, asks her to play with her. Busy with work, Masayu sends Sari to her brother, Rahman. Disheartened, Sari heads to Rahman's room, knocking on the door and finds that the door is open. As she steps inside and looks around for Rahman, she suddenly notices a figure in the corner. She stares at it carefully, then steps back in fear and quickly switches on the light, only to realize it's just a hanging hoodie. Just then, Rahman enters, startling her. Sari asks him to play, but he refuses, saying he is preparing for a gaming competition with a cash prize. Masayu calls out, urging him to spend time with his sister. Frustrated, Rahman insists he is an adult now and wants to take his dad's place by providing for the family. Masayu reminds him that the burden is too big for him and asks him to focus on Sari for now. He agrees. The scene then cuts to the park. Aldi asks Rahman if they can play there. Rahman replies, "Stay around here so I can watch you." Sari hugs him and says, "Thank you for taking care of me." He tells her to go play with her friends. The kids decide to play hide and seek. Aldi starts counting while the other kids hide. Sari hides with her friend. As Aldi begins searching for his friends, Sari says to her friend, "Aldi will find us here." Suddenly, Sari runs away, and Aldi eventually finds Sari's friend. Meanwhile, Sari approaches Rahman, who is playing a game on his phone with his friends. She asks for his help in hiding, but he tells her to go play with her friends and not to disturb him. Just then, his in-game character dies, frustrating him. Sheila, another friend, tells Sari, "Just go and hide on your own. We're playing here." Rahman yells at Sari to leave. Feeling sad, she walks away. A security guard approaches, and Rintu explains they're watching the kids while playing. The guard warns them that the children should stop playing in this area before dusk. Just then, Sari notices an abandoned house. She opens the door and steps inside, curiously looking around. As she moves forward, the door suddenly slams shut behind her. She then hides under a table. She hears the sound of someone running and the distant echoes of children playing. Curious, she steps out and moves toward the source of the noise. She calls out, "Are you the owner of this house? Allow me to use it for a while to play hide and seek." Suddenly, a haunting voice echoes. She turns around and sees someone sitting on the stairs. Curious, she approaches and asks, "What's wrong with you?" Just then, Sari's scream pierces the air. Later, Rahman asks Aldi, "Where is Sari?" He says, "She's nowhere to be found." Everyone starts searching for her. Rahman looks toward the abandoned house. Rinta says, "She can't be there. This house has been confiscated. It must be sealed." Sheila also tries to console Rahman. Just then, Aldi says, "I think Sari is inside." Meanwhile, inside the house, we see Sari. The house looks clean now. Suddenly, she notices a woman moving toward her. The woman asks, "Are you hungry?" She says, "Eat this. See, your friends are eating too." At that moment, Sari sees a group of children sitting at a dining table, eating. She hesitates and says, "My brother told me not to accept food from strangers." The woman smiles, introduces herself as Wenda, and asks her to call her We. Sari tells her name in return. Wenda then says, "See? Now we know each other. That means you can accept food from me." Sari takes the food and starts eating happily. Wenda adds, "I have plenty of food you'll love, and I can play with you all day. Would you like to stay here?" Sari excitedly says yes. She then looks at the girl sitting beside her, and they smile at each other. Just then, Wenda's face changes, and we see that the food on the table is actually rotten, covered with rats, maggots, and insects crawling on the plates. The children are eating the decayed food without hesitation. The scene then cuts to the investigation and the search for Sari at the park. Parents question their kids about what actually happened, but they are unable to find Sari. Rahman tells his mother, "I was playing with my friends but still watching Sari. She even came to me while we were playing game on phone." Masayu snaps, "Is this your idea of being an adult? Taking your dad's place like this?" Just then, she gets work messages. Frustrated, Rahman says, "Just focus on your work. Let me take care of Sari." Then, we see Aldi at home. He finds a note on the table from his parents. "We'll be home late. Don't wait for us to eat." Meanwhile, Rahman is asleep when he suddenly hears knocking. He jolts awake and sits up in bed. Just then, his wardrobe door creaks open. Another knock startles him, and he spots someone outside. A strange noise echoes from the ceiling. He looks toward the window, and suddenly, Sari pushes him aside and dashes out of the room. Rahman chases after her, calling out, "I'm glad glad you're home?" He searches for her, saying, "Let's continue playing tomorrow." But then, she suddenly runs past him again. When he looks around, there's no one there. Then, he notices something unsettling under the table. He sees Sari's feet swinging from a chair, but there's no one sitting above it. Just then, she runs past him again, laughing. Raman follows and sees her hiding behind the curtain, motioning for him to come closer. As he reaches out to touch her hand, she suddenly turns and says, "You don't need to look for me. I'm happy with Mother Wee." Then, she vanishes, leaving Rahman frozen in fear. Meanwhile, Sheila is brushing her teeth at home when her mother calls her. She heads to her room and says, "Mom, I'm sorry. I never thought Rahman's sister would go missing. I'm sure she's not far. I didn't see anyone leave the yard." Her mother replies, "That house is not a playground. It may look empty, but it's inhabited." Just then, there's a knock at the door. Sheila opens it, and her father tells her to come for dinner. Suddenly, her mother enters from outside, saying, "Dinner is ready." Sheila freezes in fear because she just spoke to her mother inside the room. The next morning, Rahman, feeling sad, looks at a photograph of Sari. Just then, her mother enters the house. He asks if she just got back, but she ignores him. He asks, "Were you out looking for Sarai all night?" He pleads with her not to ignore him. Masayu replies, "Sari can't sleep alone. Sometimes, she still can't even shower by herself. And now, she's all alone without us. I've been searching for her, but couldn't find her." She breaks down, crying, "Help me find her. I don't know what to do." Raman hugs her, offering comfort. The scene cuts to Raman sitting in his classroom. He recalls the words of the security guard, warning them that children shouldn't be playing outside before dusk. Without wasting time, he starts searching for information online. One article leads to another until he stumbles upon something chilling: Wee Wee Gomble, a supernatural entity known for taking children at dusk. As he scrolls through the articles, his eyes land on an eerie image of Wee Wee Gomble. He stares at it, and suddenly, the image moves, filling him with terror. Later, he tells his friends about his experience seeing Sari at night. Sheila shares that she also had a haunting experience. Rinta says, "I didn't experience anything like this, but I think Sari has been taken by a supernatural being." He then explains them about Wee Wee Gomble, a spirit known for abducting children. "They take kids because they died with the regret of losing their own child," Sheila says. "Wee Wee Gomble is just a myth." Rinta counters, "You both experienced something unnatural." He continues, "Wee Wee Gomble takes kids to take care of them. It feeds them, plays with them, and makes them forget their families. But it can only take a child who feels neglected by their own family." Rama suddenly yells, "Family? You mean it's my fault?" Rinta replies, "You were angry at her and ignored her. We need to find Sari within 3 days." Ramat asks, "Why?" Rintu explains, "If it takes longer than 3 days, we'll only find her dead body." Sheila asks, "What should we do?" Rintu suggests, "We enter Wee Wee Gomble's lair, that house." We then see them in their respective homes, preparing to enter the house, packing everything they might need. As Ramat is about to leave, he sees his mother crying and praying. The scene then shifts to Aldi as he arrives at the abandoned house. He moves through the overgrown bushes and enters the premises. Determined, he advances and calls out for Sari, trying to peek inside. Suddenly, he hears Sari's voice from within. Looking through the window glass, he spots her eating raw meat. Just then, he sees a ghost and immediately runs, colliding with Raman. Frightened, he whispers, "Sari is in there. She was eating raw meat, and there's a huge ghost inside too." Rintu attempts to open the door with a tool and successfully unlocks it. They all enter the house. Sheila observes, "How can these tree roots be inside?" Raman responds, "When a house is abandoned, nature takes over." Rintu interjects, "This isn't just nature. The Wee Wee Gomble usually resides in trees. If it chooses this place as its lair, nature will follow." Raman insists, "Aldi, you can't stay here." Sheila agrees, adding, "Your parents must be looking for you." Aldi says, "No one's home to accompany me." Raman sighs and agrees to take him along, instructing him not to wander too far. As they move deeper inside, the door suddenly slams shut behind them. Inside, Rinto's gaze falls on a figure covered with cloth. Raman cautiously approaches, and the figure shrugs. He removes the cloth, revealing only a floor lamp beneath. Aldi steps closer and then notices Sari walking away. He quietly follows her, with Rahman trailing behind. Rahman then finds an old family photo. "This must be the family who lived here," he murmurs. Suddenly, a noise comes from upstairs, followed by the sound of hurried footsteps. Curious, he ascends the stairs and spots Sari. He rushes after her. Aldi, terrified, reaches a hauntingly eerie room. Meanwhile, Sheila notices insects crawling over plates on the dining table and recoils in disgust. Just then, Aldi runs back to Ramen. At the same time, Rinta spots a girl and follows her, but when he checks, she has vanished. Suddenly, a ghostly hand slams the door shut. Trapped, Rinta looks around in panic. As he tries to leave, he realizes the door is locked. Sheila hears Rinto calling out and rushes to find the door locked from the inside. She knocks and peeks through a window, but sees no one inside. It is then revealed that Rintu is actually somewhere else, shouting for help. Suddenly, he hears the creak of a wardrobe door opening. He cautiously moves towards it, but a rat startles him. At that moment, a ghostly girl appears, haunting him, and he collapses. Sheila then hears a tongue-clicking sound and notices a child hiding beneath a cloth sheet. She cautiously steps closer, only for the child to slowly rise, twice the height of a normal person. Terrified, she tries to run, but the door is locked. Suddenly, a ghostly hand reaches out towards her. She turns around, but no one is there. Meanwhile, Raman and Aldi enter a room, calling out for Sari. As they search, Raman finds several small oil lamps filled with oil. He lights them and places them around. Then, he notices a diary. Opening it, he reads, "And then my little brother Andy wanted to help Mom, but Dad pushed Andy until he fell. Dad never changes. Every time he is angry, he beats us up." Aldi reveals, "My dad beats me too," and lifts his shirt to show wound on his back. Suddenly, they hear a noise. Without warning, the ceiling collapses. Then Aldi is dragged away and vanishes. Raman then hears Sari's voice and spots her standing with their mother. He says, "Sari, that's not Mom." The woman suddenly transforms into Wenda. Just then, Sari grabs Wenda's finger, breaks it, and starts eating it. Then the door slams shut. Raman struggles to open it, and when he finally does, Sari is gone. At that moment, heavy footsteps echo through the house. Determined, Rothman follows the sound. The scene then shifts to Rintu regaining consciousness. He hears some noises and suddenly looks towards the wardrobe. After a brief moment, a hand emerges from the drawer, followed by a ghostly child crawling out of it. Then, another ghostly child emerges from the same drawer. A sudden tongue-clicking sound draws his gaze to a ghostly girl nearby, paralyzing him with fear. Meanwhile, outside, Sheila notices a street vendor and desperately screams for help. However, he sees nothing unusual inside and chooses to ignore her and walks away. Just then, the three ghostly children start moving toward Rinto. Panicked, he opens the door and escapes. Sheila rushes to him, and he warns her not to enter the room. On the other side, Raymond secretly observes the source of the heavy footsteps and realizes that they belong to an entity holding Aldi. The entity forces Aldi to stand still before its mouth grotesquely enlarges, and then it begins devouring Aldi's head. Raman watches in horror. He steps forward to confront the entity, but it vanishes, only to reappear behind him, and he falls down the stairs. A shard of glass pierces his back, and he groans, pulling it out. At that moment, Sheila and Rinto arrive. The three of them share their terrifying encounters with the ghosts. Raman recounts that he saw Wee Wee Gomble upstairs, and that it had consumed Aldi. Suddenly, they hear Sari's voice. They follow the sound and arrive at a room. Raman decides, "We'll search for Sari here. If we don't find her, we'll go outside to get help and return later." Just then, Rinto spots Sari as she disappears behind a wooden partition. Suddenly, a cloth in the room starts floating erratically before finally falling to the floor. From beneath it, Wenda emerges, followed by the three ghostly children who gather behind her. She says, "I am Mrs. Wee," Raman demands. "Give Sari back." Wenda agrees, and Sari steps forward from behind Wenda. Wenda urges her, "Sari, go back to your brother. Your mother is waiting for you." But Sari refuses. "I don't want to go. I want to stay with Mrs. Wee. She is my new mother. She plays with me and listens to me." Rinto warns Rothman, "That's not Sari. It's only her soul." Wenda sends sends Sari back behind her and says, "You can't have her back. Her soul belongs to me." Raman then says in anger, "I know this is not your real face. How dare you deceive her? Show your true form." At that moment, Wenda's body begins to transform. Slowly, her true demonic form is revealed, sending shivers down everyone's spine. Raman tries to strike her, but an unseen force restrains him. Meanwhile, Rinto bravely pulls out a cutter and stabs the demon's arm. Her blood floats in the air, and in retaliation, she hurls Rothman and Rinto across the room. The suspended droplets of her blood suddenly gather and forcefully enter Rinto's mouth, causing him to vomit blood before collapsing. The demon grabs Raman by the throat and lifts him into the air, gasping. He asks, "Why?" But she flings him aside without answering. At that moment, Raman experiences a vision. Wenda's husband is accusing her. "That baby in your womb is not mine," he yells. Wenda pleads, insisting that the child is his, but he doesn't listen. Instead, he starts beating her. He slaps her and smashes her head against the table. Their son rushes forward to stop him, but he cruelly shoves him away. Then, in a horrifying act, he pours boiling water over Wenda's face and storms out. Later, in despair, Wenda poisons her children, killing them. Then, she mixes the poison into her own drink and consumes it. While dying, she sees a demonic shadow. She whispers, "I am willing to devote myself to the one who was expelled from heaven. I give you my life and my beloved children's lives. In return, make my grudge eternal." The demon growls in approval, and with that, Wenda dies. In the next scene, inside her grave, Wenda awakens and undergoes a horrifying transformation into a demon. The house where she once lived is put up for sale, but no one dares to buy it, and it soon becomes abandoned. Over time, Wenda and her children's spirits remain in the house. Suddenly, Raman and Rinto regain consciousness. Sheila urges, "We need to get out of here and find help." Just then, Wenda says, "Satan doesn't like to take a shower like a queen. Hide well, or else you will be seen." She starts counting. Terrified, they all scatter and hide. As she reaches 10, a long, slimy tongue slithers into the room, wrapping itself around Sheila's leg, dragging her and hanging her upside down. The boys rush to help, but their efforts are futile. Desperate, Raman pleads, "Sorry, wherever you are, listen to me. Let's go home. This is not your home. This is not your family." Meanwhile, Masayu looks at a photo of Sari on her phone and murmurs, "From now on, I promise to be more sensitive to your needs, your wishes, and your feelings. Please, come home," Raman continues. "I know you know that I love you." As these words reach the demon, something within her stirs. Suddenly, her abdomen rips open and Sari emerges from within. At that moment, Sheila is freed. Raman dashes to Sari's side. Rinto, standing tall, declares, "We know you feed on our fear, but we are not afraid anymore. Go back to where you came from." As if cursed, the demon's body begins to decay. Slowly, she disintegrates into dust, vanishing into the air. Raman embraces Sari. "Let's go home. We're safe now." The door creaks open and they all step out. Raman's voice narrates, "No matter how great the evil that attacks us, it will always be defeated by the power of love. But we couldn't save Aldi. Wee Gomble took him to its world because he was never surrounded by a loving family. Cherish the ones you love. Stay close to them while you still can, because love is what binds us together." Later, Raman is seen playing with Sari. Masayu also spends time with her, kissing her before heading to the kitchen. Sari then asks Raman to play hide and seek with her. Raman hesitates. "Not now," she insists. "We'll play inside the house only." Reluctantly, he agrees. After counting, he begins searching for her. Suddenly, he hears her voice. As he steps inside, he finds the fridge doors open and raw meat is scattered across the floor. Confused, he shuts the fridge and sees Sari crouched, devouring raw meat. Her eyes turns white, and the screen cuts to black, marking the end of the movie. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the chills, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a scare. Until next time, stay spooky.